that play over and over again, because that can determine the result of a bet. Small things like that.
So David, how big is the Asian sports industry? I mean, either in absolute terms of dollars or in percentage of the global industry?
Well, there's two levels, two facets of it. There's the white label, and then there's the massive underground illegal. And again, I've been saying this for a number of years, and Magnus will confirm this. It's unquantifiable. It really is unquantifiable. If anybody claims that they have some concrete numbers to back it, I just don't believe it. The China market, overall the ASEAN or the Southeast Asian market, and now the Indian market, I can't quantify it. It's impossible to. It's huge. It's huge.
Who would be, let's say, the top 3 Asian-facing operators in the world? Just throw the names at me.
IBC, SBO, and Bet365.
Okay. Now, you obviously have a sports betting site. There's a lot of integration now between sites. I mean, how important is it for you guys to maybe have a casino add-on? You've got a lot of in-play betting, so a lot of people are spending time on your site now, right? So
yes.
At half-time, hey, let's play a few hands of blackjack on a sports site. Is that something that you guys do?
Again, it goes back to, everybody's going to be betting on the World Cup, and now the goal is to keep those customers on your site. Footballbet.com, we lag behind most of the market because we don't have the live casino or the electronic casino on our website yet, but it's something that we've been looking at, and in fact developing, not only in-house but developing relationships with providers that offer that, because it's huge, and again, Magnus will confirm this.
Well, speaking of Magnus, I'm going to move over to you again now, Magnus, and we'll switch over to online casino, more hardcore gaming as it's perceived. But in some, let me ask you the exact same question I just asked David, but in reverse. How important is it to have the availability to bet on sport on a casino online site?
Well, I think it's very important because, there's no secret that cross-selling does work. Most of the big sports betting companies use sports to acquire customers, and it works really well. And then, you use different CRM strategies to cross-sell them into RNG games, live dealers, and poker or what have you. And I think it is really important. It takes time to build a big sports book. It takes much longer time to build a lot of turnover there than it takes to build it in a casino. It's the nature of the game. But that said, from a marketing perspective, I think it's very crowded in the sportsbook sector, but it's even worse in the online casino sector. And the Asian market is, infested with rebates and, give-backs to the players. So it's really hard to actually make too much money on it. So you can't invest too much in casino marketing. So for me, I think that the mix is really, really important. There are sites that don't do it, and they seem to do all right. So I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I think it is a big strategic advantage. So.
We see here in Macau that 91.5% of the turnover is Baccarat, and in fact all the non-Baccarat games here are really just here almost under sufferance. Basically it's just a great big Baccarat hall, this town. Is that experience repeated online?
Yeah, the interest online is not that different to what you see on the floor here. So in terms of live dealer, yeah, it's Baccarat primarily. There is, however, a little bit of interest that we see in online slots, and that's, I think, kind of reflects what you see here as well. There are people who do play slots out here, and there are people online, and I think a lot of the sportsbook players, I think they started to trust the online slots more than they have in the past. So that is an interesting area at the moment, I think.
Well, here in Macau, slots account for 5.5%. They come a long distance second, but they certainly are second. And 5.5 doesn't sound like a very big percentage, but in absolute, given that it was a US $45 billion market last year, it's still a fair chunk of change. And I'm interested to hear you say that they're starting to trust the online slots, because there is a very low level of trust amongst the Asian punter in gaming, and if something was going to be rigged, that would be the one that would be rigged. So that was interesting. Even with the Angel Eye Baccarat shoes here in Macau, a lot of the punters don't trust it. They think that the electronics on the shoe is doing something which, of course, it's not. And well, actually, that was my next question: was how important are online slots in an Asian-facing site? I mean, do you have to have slots in an Asian-facing casino site?
You could probably get away with it, but no, I think the site would be half done if you don't have a selection of things there. I do think that they have a role to play, and again, they will never be your biggest product, or never. Should never say never, but it's a long way for that to happen. I do think you should have a selection of slots if you want to have a complete product offering online. It is an important part of it.
All right, well, let's touch on something slightly controversial, and David brought it up before, the issue of legal versus illegal, black versus grey versus white gambling in China. It's an often uttered mantra in China: oh, there's no gambling in China, gambling is illegal in China. And I say, well, hang on a minute, slow down. They have the sports lottery, which is not really like a lottery at all. It's like a old school bookies place, and you go in there and they have virtual horse racing and all sorts of things. But the margins on those are very high and they're not very attractive, so I guess that pushes your players out into the more, or the less legal areas. You meet these guys in the Philippines, these online guys in the Philippines who proudly say, I'm marketing to the grey market in China, whatever that exactly means. I never quite understood. So can you expand a little bit, or as much as you can, on the issue of the whiter than white sports lottery and some other legal things in China, all the way through to the dark, and how much is it that your average punter in Shanghai or Beijing who wants to go and have a bet now, he will just go to his illegal bookie because they offer a better price? I mean, what's really going on in China in terms of that?
Well, this is an impossible question to answer.
That's why I asked you. You're the best qualified person to answer that.
Thank you. We had a couple of very qualified people on the panel this morning that couldn't answer it. So, well, let me put it like this. I think that punters will go to the product that they like. You know, if they go to China Sports Lottery and they feel that the product there is substandard, they will find alternatives, and they will find alternatives they trust. And that trust can be established through a number of channels. Maybe they know their friend David who knows that this site is fine, so they take that one. And maybe they look